The jinns don't seem to have a particular shape or form. Classical scholars debated this, and the Sharia is quiet on this point. So the Sharia does not say what is the original form of a jinn. But in my humble opinion, since the Sharia is silent, I give you my opinion, and this opinion is not just new, it is going back in the past. Scholars have differed what is the real shape of the jinn, and the reality is the question is absurd. To have a real shape, you have to have a physical body. If you don't have a physical body, you don't have a real shape. So when we ask the question, a lot of us ask, what does a jinn really look like? The response, the question is only valid when the entity has physical structure, flesh or blood or three-dimensional or whatnot. You don't ask what does energy look like. Energy doesn't look like anything, right? You don't ask what does energy look like. There is no original structure. Our eyes cannot see the reality of energy. Can we see these waves being bombarded? Can we see the microwave? Can we see? We don't see it. It doesn't register. So, in my humble opinion, and this is the position of many classical scholars, there is no original structure of the jinn. The jinn can't have an original structure. The jinn are simply as they are. They are in a world that doesn't have structure. And that's why for our minds it's difficult to encompass, to come across. They don't occupy the three-dimensional world that we live in. They have a totally different parallel universe, quite literally. You know, they are here, yet they're not here. They are in this world, yet they are in a separate world apart from our eyes. So the jinn don't actually have any one shape. And this also explains culturally another phenomenon. What is that? Every single civilization and culture has a different perception of their demons and ghosts. Every single society and culture has a different shape of the evil things that haunt in the world beyond. Think about it, right? We have our shapes, the Eastern methodologies and religions have theirs. The ancient, again I'm thinking of Scandinavia as well. If you go there, they have a totally different structure. The Japanese have their own. Every single civilization, which shows what? That there is no one unified structure that these beings appear on. However, one thing about them is all common, and that is that these entities in all cultures are terrifying to look at. Which means they purposely take on forms that terrify, because they don't have original forms. They purposely take on forms that terrify. So, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowing that they don't have an original structure, and they're simply putting on this because in your cultural memory, this is what should terrify you. Honestly, this should give you power. And that's the whole point of today's lecture, by the way, inshallah, is to minimize this fear. The true mu'min is no more scared of the jinn than he's scared of a snake or a scorpion or something like this. And as your iman rises, then even that will become less, right? This is a fact, take this. Inshallah, by the end, we will work on this issue. But knowledge is power. Simply knowing, that's not how the jinn really looks. There is no real look of the jinn. Simply knowing that this structure that the jinn is looking at, or looking like, it's meant to terrify you based on your own cultural knowledge, right? It's not something that the jinn actually looks like. So in our Western culture, we have the two horns coming out, or so dark red eyes or whatever. This is like this, right? In other cultures, it'll have a tail coming out. In other cultures, it'll be like a troll. In other cultures, so each one has its own. But the point is that the jinns, they're simply playing with you. They're simply wanting to terrify. And imagine, you know, if you're not as a child, as an adult, imagine if another adult is trying to terrify you. In front of you, he puts on one mask and another. Which one is going to make you scared? You would honestly think this guy is, you know, what do you think, I'm a kid or something? That's exactly how the mu'min feels when the jinn tries to terrify. I hope that Allah Azza wa Jalla saves you from ever seeing one, right? But in reality, some people, the jinn does terrify, either in the dream, which is more common, or once in a while, very rarely, in real life.